Hello, everybody. Welcome. I have a cat getting comfortable on my lap here, so a little distracted for a moment. What you doing? Silly girl. Hello, Kissed Chaos. Welcome. And Megan, hello. Welcome, everybody, to Heart of a Hobbit here. Megan says, oh my gosh, your hair is dark. Yeah, I got it dyed, I don't know, a couple of months ago now. It feels like maybe it was a month ago. Yes, you have been away too long. And then, but just dyed. I didn't get it cut at the time, and so it was just like on top of my hair. So it was like getting nice and floofy. And then we're gonna be away doing some holiday stuff, and so I'm like, well, I'm gonna get it trimmed up so it's nice and ready to go before that. And the person who cut my hair is a little bit new to cutting hair, and I was trying somebody new. The person who dyed my hair, actually, and so it's a little shorter than I had intended, but it's got some fun things I didn't intend, but I'm enjoying. So, be some fun things to maybe continue for the future. Sorry, wrong pipe. Oh dear. You think you've been drinking and breathing your whole life. You'd have figured this out by now. But yes. Old Bear says, hi from Austin. Hello from Austin. Oh, May 1st. Okay. So like a month, almost a month and a half ago. Not quite a month and a half ago. 5 weeks? There we go. I got my hair dyed 5 weeks ago. So it feels like forever ago, but yeah. And it was supposed to, well, my idea was like purple, like this kind of purple, like this flower. But yeah, not quite. That's okay. It's also possible because it was the first time I'd ever dyed my hair that they were trying to go with something that might not be quite so outlandish. I decided it was time to go a little outlandish, so that was my goal. Yeah, it's so funny too because my hair is definitely much lighter than this underneath. I was seeing it as like without color, but other people see it as more of a blonde. I'm like, okay, I can work with that. But when she was cutting my hair the other day, like, you pull it back and you make like the stripes to as you pull it up, and like you're like, okay, this part we're gonna do. And I've got some very like stark white going on there. I was like, hey, it's like JJ Jameson there. No, Megan says I bet your natural color is ash blonde. My natural color is redhead. I've been a redhead all my life, but my first child does have naturally like ash blonde kind of hair, and I always kind of wondered where that came from, but now I'm like, oh, I guess it came from me, I suppose. Well, because my hair was kind of an anomaly because my parents were both had black and brown hair. Yes, kissed chaos. Gingers unite in the shade. Yes, I know, right? I still, yeah. People are like talk about going outside and doing picnics or go for walks or whatever, and I'm like, right, but where's the shade? Where's the shade involved in all of this? Megan forgot that I'm Little Redhead. That's okay. It's kind of in the name, but it's like when you grow up as a kid and you hear these words and they don't mean anything to you, and then at some point you hear other words that are very similar to it, and you're like, oh, wait a minute, that has the word tree in it. That has the word tree in it. That's talking about trees. Like, bah. So I get it. So yeah, so I'm having fun. The sides got kind of more shaved than I was thinking. But oh my gosh, I was riding home on my bike, and I've got an electric bike now, so I'm like zooming along at like 15, maybe 20 kilometers an hour, and like the wind was whipping through my now short hair, and like the sides and the back's all shaved, and oh, it felt so good. I'm like, okay, I may have to just keep doing this because I really like it. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Now the nice thing is that before just basically takes a shaver just for his hair. So we have one of those in the house already. So if I want to keep any of this, yes, buzz. So if I want to keep any of this short and stuff, he can help me out with that, hopefully. I know he can help with the back, definitely. and then we'll see if we took some pictures the other day. Might have to take some closer pictures because I want to kind of like document where it is at the moment, so that way we can replicate some of the shavedy parts and let the rest of it, because I want to let the rest of it grow out. I want to let it get all big and floofy, and maybe not a pompadour, but you know, I like it big and floofy. And it is asymmetrical. It wasn't intended to be, but one side near the end, the instructor person worked on, and the other side, the student worked on, and so they are different. But you know, as I told her, I'm like, asymmetrical is also a style. Like, it wasn't what we were going for, but it is a style, and I'm fine with that. So, yeah, I really like the woman who cut my hair, so I'm hoping that she'll be she'll enjoy cutting hair for the future. I don't know if she decides that she doesn't enjoy that. Hopefully she'll find something else she enjoys. But she dyed my hair too, and I love the way, you know, I was very, yeah, I trust her with my hair. So there we go. So yes, new happenings on my head. This is just a couple, well, it was Friday, I guess she cut my hair. So, but I feel like I'm still getting used to it. And I had been doing a center part for a while recently, and I used to do side part all the time. So I'm kind of like going back to that again. But yeah. So, and then the other thing I've been doing is I've been making little flowers, because I'm making like floral headbands is what I'm trying to do. So I made like headbands, and then like floral crowns, like midsummer crowns. And then I'm making flowers that I will put on them, and so they'll be big flower crowns, hopefully. That's what we're going for. Hopefully it turns out, because I've made like 6 of them. So I've been busy making fun flowers with little remnants of yarn that was laying around at a place where I volunteer. We needed to start getting rid of some of it. Well, some of this was I made previously, though. So I loved it. I grabbed like all the little teeny bits and bobs where there's hardly anything left. Yeah, somebody had put some on clothespins and wrote like the color number on there. But anyway, but it's not floss. It's not that small. But yeah, so I've got like all these like little bits and bobs. So I'm like, oh, I know how to use that up. I can make flowers. So having fun with that. But my desk is awash in yarn at the moment. But I like it. I like the way it looks. It's colorful. It's yeah, it's frolic. It's yeah, I don't know, makes it happy. So that's the main happenings around here, colorful wise. In the game, I wasn't sure what I was going to do today because we don't have festival right now. Sure. I was thinking though, my legendary item reward track, I'm not very far. Box number 4. And we have 2 months and 10 days if I want to make any progress on that. Now, the 25 box is a snake. The 50 box is a coffer of the Heroes of the Dwarf Halls. It says Heroes of the Dwarf Halls housing bundle. So we're definitely going to get some dwarven housing items out of that. And then 75 is Coffer of the Elvish Outpost. So Elvish Outpost housing bundle. And then the last one at 100 is the Striped Jerboa. So I'm not really like worried about getting the pets. They're okay, but I'm not like super excited about them. But housing items, it's always hard for me to pass that by. So I'm thinking my goal will be to get to 75 if I can in the next 2 months, and get the dwarven housing items and get the elven housing items. Plus, with elven housing opening sometime this year, that might be, you know, cool to have. So here's another dilemma I'm having. So all of my characters that were on Evernight and on Laurelin are here on Mary. And I have like a higher level character that I did a lot of questing on over on Evernight. And she did a lot of deed completion. And my goal, or the plan with her, excuse me, My plan with her, hang on, let me grab a Ricola and a drink. Let me get a drink. So my plan with her was that, because Before and I have kind of matching characters that we quested with together over there. Excuse me. Goodness, still. And so my thought was they would go to Orcrist because another friend of ours that we did a lot of questing with those characters is on Orcrist. Now, she's running around with some other people, so it's not like she's waiting for us, which is good. Because we don't do a lot of major questing over on Evernight now, Orcrist anymore. So now in my haste, when the transfers were happening, and then I was like, things were going, like things were closed, things were open, things were closed, things were open. And so at one point I was like, oh, it's open. I got to get my characters out of here. I got to move. So I moved that character that was supposed to go to Orcrist over to Mary. I wasn't thinking because I had actually set aside all of her housing items and everything was supposed to go with her over to the other server. Oh, you know what? Hang on. We're going to do two things. We're going to grab some ingredient crates here real quick. So, there's a part of me that's like, well, she's already here. And I was like, well, maybe I'll just use her to buy an elven house when Elven Premium Housing comes open. Because that makes sense. She's an elf. And, she can go and be the purchaser of said thing. And then now she's got a lot of elf stuff, but she's also housing decorations. But she's also, there's a bunch of Rohirric stuff that I ended up with because I was making a parkour thing because I was being silly. And that stuff came over here with her because my thinking was she would buy a kin house for the kin over on Orcrist. But because then transfers got closed and all of that business, the person we were questing with over on Orcrist has already gone ahead and created a new kinship. Oh, did I not end up moving it? I did not end up moving it. Hang on, let me push that over there. Zoop. So I have in my shared storage. Oh, I thought I had in my shared storage. Did she already pick it all up? Oh, maybe I somehow managed to get it. Okay. Or it's in my house. That's also possible. Let's go back to a house. Let's go to Edgemere Road instead. It's right around the corner. So anyway, so I'm still debating whether to move that character over to Orcrist, right? And I have to make this decision in the next 2 months, by the end of July, right? Am I moving her to Orcrist and then sending stuff with her and so forth? Or am I just going to leave her here and say, good enough? Oh, I was going into my housing chest. That's why I'm here. Yeah, I can't decide. Because I have other elves here. And so, or my Hobbit could also purchase a house in the elven area. That's not completely weird. I'm going to jump in here. I haven't really decorated this house so much yet. There we go. Yes, Kiss Chaos says, I'll never not hear that 80s commercial with the Swiss horns somebody says Ricola. I know, right? What's so funny is there's a board game called Agricola, and people weren't sure how to pronounce it when it came out. And so a guy who does a lot of board game explanation videos, or he used to, he and his husband, who has this wonderful, wizardly look. Anyway, he's got a big beard, and they had, a big robe on him and stuff. And so he had, a vuvuzela kind of thing, a giant horn, and they were like, "Woo," and then the guy would be, Agricola. It was great. So then everybody knew how to pronounce it. So Arabani says, I finally transferred my additional hobbits from Mary to Orc server. I'm still bitter over losing like 40,000 non-account bound items due to kin chest bug. You know, they might still show up. Did you... So weird thing is when they were fixing this bug recently, I logged in to Mary and like a whole bunch of things came up and went blah, 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 saying, you know, this, you have an item that has been restored to you or whatever. And they ended up in my shared chest. So in my shared housing storage, notice that I'm at 149 over 90. I was down to like 85 or something. Like I had it down so that I could manage and put stuff in and out again. But then another 50 odd things at least showed up. So weird thing, I didn't put in a ticket either, Airbnb. It just happened without a ticket. I logged in on Treebeard also, and I got the same thing, which was extra weird because I had not transferred anybody from Treebeard, but somehow something was restored to me into my shared storage on Treebeard, as well as on Mary. So you might want to check, and it's got to be housing items because, like, they usually go into the first slot, right? And I've looked, and there's nothing here that's not housing. Well, except for maybe those Bjorn honey cakes. Okay, that's fair. But everything else is housing, and that's the only thing I would have had left behind. So, yeah, I put these cosmetics in myself, so I knew those were there. Yeah, so you might want to check your shared storage. Check your housing storage. How long ago was it? Oh, I don't know. Honey, do you remember how long ago that was? Like a week or two? It was after they did the update.
Wait, I have a...
He's going to check. He thinks he might have an idea.
I mean, because you got it on Treebeard, even though...
Yeah, oh, that's right. And when it happened on Treebeard, we were like, this is odd. And so he sent off a message and was like, hey, this is a weird thing that just happened. Yeah, so anyway, you might want to check and see if things just showed up for you. Because it just was in my general chat. And if I hadn't been looking at my general chat, I would not have noticed it saying that these things came in.
After the restart on the 29th, so we saw it on the 30th.
Okay, so he's saying it was after the restart on the 29th of May. So we saw it on the 30th of May. So that was like, what, a Saturday, like a week and a half ago?
Oh, we saw it Friday, but yeah.
A Friday? So, yeah, so like a week and a half ago. Yeah, yeah, so, and like I said, there wasn't, like, I didn't get a notification because I didn't have a ticket in. And it was just in the general chat where it says, you know, you are now connected to such and such a chat channel, and, you know, you'll be known as whatever your title is. Like, it was in that, you know, in with that information. And it just happened to be there, and yeah, we just noticed it and was like, oh, this is odd. So, yeah, maybe your stuff showed up. One can hope. So everybody says, if I were you, I'd move most of my tunes to the main server and leave only unimportant ones on the others. So for me, Mary and Treebeard are my main servers. And so that's the other thing that's, I guess I'm still debating, because like, if I move somebody to Orcrist, I'll never see them. I won't go over there to play, unless there's a very specific reason to do that. And I do have, like, I did that thing where you make the name of the character that you want to make sure that, so you have the name. So I do have that. I have the name placeholders over on Orcrist, but I've never, like, you know, logged them in or done anything because I haven't transferred anybody over or anything. So I don't know. And the other thing that's so funny is, like, I was thinking when all the Dark World transfers came up, I was like, oh, hey, I'll look at the transfer window. I shouldn't have anything on a Dark World. I started playing after that. But just to see if it comes up, you know, just kind of do a little testing on my own. And I was like, so I took a look at that. And I brought up the transfer window. And as I was getting, you know, going through that, I was like, oh yeah, it'll be great because, you know, I moved all my characters off of the US servers. Those all went to Peregrine. All my characters from the EU servers, they're all over on Mary. So I'll have like, 2 servers, 3 servers come up. Well, I'd forgotten I'd done placeholders. And then, so I had placeholders on Orcrist and Mary and Peregrine and maybe on Glamdring. So that's 4 servers, and I was like thinking I would just be on 4, but then there's also Treebeard, so I'm on 5, but then I did a placeholder on Angmar just in case I played over there, and then I have characters over on Mordor, so I have 7 servers still. I'm like, I was kind of looking forward to the idea of like having everybody in 1 or 2 spaces, and then it's just so much easier to manage. So I don't know. The problem is it's free right now, and I hate to miss out on it, not take advantage of something that's free. But maybe I'll just keep thinking about it because I still haven't obviously made a clear decision. I mean, my instinct is to just leave everybody on Mary and work on getting everybody to Mary or Peregrine over time and not even worry about the other servers. Because I was like, oh, I'll go put some placeholders on Sting. And then I'm like, why? I do not want more servers again. I do not need that. The only reason to go to other servers is if there was like events that I wanted to go to, but hopefully those are all on Mary and Peregrine. So I don't know. And yes, everybody, you said Agricola, like the Latin for a farmer. That is correct. The game is about farming, basically. That's what Agricola is about. It's a board game. Came out 2010s, I think, or so. I'm trying to remember who I was playing it with, and yeah, I think it was around that time. It became very popular, became very, very big, and they had a bunch of like extra pieces that they kept adding to it. Oh, bye, good luck. Anyway, so yeah, Agricola, like farmer. Yeah, it's one of those games where you have a whole bunch of things you want to do, and you have very limited actions. And you get to the end of the game, you're like, no, I needed to do 5 more things. It's a lot of good. It's good. So you're missing mostly non-furniture stuff like materials, recipes, and reputation items. Yeah, interesting. I did not have any of that stuff. All I had were housing items as far as I can recall. So the problem is I didn't really take a look. It's so funny. When we were on which server was it? Bombadil server, and that was 2020. Before the server shut down, that was quick. Yeah. Before the server shut down, I took a whole bunch of screenshots of like all of my house, all my stuff. So I like basically took this, housing thing, opened it as far as I could go, so it filled up the whole screen, took a screenshot, scrolled down, took a screenshot, so I knew everything that I had in each one of my storages. Like, I was very diligent about it. And then after the transfer happened and everything was successful, I was like, okay, that was, that worked out great. So after that, I guess, and I think I did like another transfer or 2 after that, and nothing ever went wrong. So I I had gotten to like trust the system, because there hadn't been any problems. So I was like, yeah, this will be fine. But, that was on a much smaller scale that the transfers were happening. And we were talking like a couple hundreds of people transferring around the same time, not thousands and thousands. So, the results were varied. Also, before leaving Bombadil, I did clear everything out of the houses, I think. I think I did. I think I went ahead and cleared out all the houses because it was one of those where it was like we left things in housing storage for people to take what they wanted because we had it open to everybody. And then after, and so I was one of the last ones to leave. And so I left, waited and waited and waited. And then once people seemed to have taken everything they wanted, I went ahead and hoovered up everything that was left. So I don't think I actually left anything in the houses. And I think we sold all of our houses. Maybe? Probably? I'm not 100% sure now. So that was 5 years ago, Yeah, Airbnb, like you say, same here. The last transfer went flawlessly. Yeah, so I think so. I can kind of understand why the Lotro developers were like surprised when things didn't go flawlessly because they had always previously, right? So I can understand why they were like, "Whoa, what? Why are things going on badly?" Because everything's been fine before. But again, I think the volume all at once took them by surprise. And I think also because they were like, I think they expected people were going to be like, oh, okay, these servers are opening now, and we have now through the next, 6 months or whatever to move. We'll just figure out when we want to go, and then we'll go. And I don't think the interconnectivity of groups was quite so obvious. I certainly didn't really think about it because I think what happened, like for us, like I play with the hobbits on Lorelin mostly, right? That's where I was my main focus was. And so our hobbit kinship often does things with other hobbits and other hobbits. And then there's some hobbit events like the Green Dragon Friday where everybody is welcome and there is kind of like a wider net of people who come sometimes, don't come sometimes, but they always know it's available to them, or new people show up or whatever. And so I think there was a maybe a cognizance of, okay, we have to make sure that this space is being held either currently on our server or in the new server, but we've got to make it very clear where is that now. So that was, I think, being thought about. And I think all the other groups who also do various activities, you've got your Wednesday night music. I forget what it's called, but yeah, there's like a music gathering on Wednesdays, and then another, it's held by some other folks, and it's also again like an open thing. You can come, and so you just kind of rely on the fact that it's always there. You don't have to look for it; it's just there. So there's like all those kinds of things that are being done by all these different people, and I think so. That was like, it was kind of one of those. Well, if you're gonna move, then I think we're gonna move, and it's like, well, okay, well if you're moving, I think we'll move. And then it became one of those like, if somebody's moving, other people are going to move too. So that was going on. And then there's the housing thing. So like our kinship exists in a neighborhood in a Hobbit neighborhood, and we we have there's like one of the bands is named after the neighborhood, and like there's all sorts of things that are connected to the name of the neighborhood. And it's not just us, like that, replicate that across bunches and bunches of kinships where they are used to being in X named neighborhood. And the when you move, I've noticed when I'm like a new character on a new server or whatever, and I'm looking for a house, I'm just like, I'll just scroll and be like, hey, that looks like a nice neighborhood, I'll just go there. You don't necessarily know if it's a kinship neighborhood or if it's not. Like there's no way to designate that yet, and I really wish the devs would allow us to do something where like you could put like a little note saying, this neighborhood is inhabited primarily by, X kinship, because then you'd be like, oh, I know them, let me see if I can move in, and they're cool with that. Or, oh, I don't want to be with other people, I don't want to go there. What I mean? Like it would give you more knowledge, more information that exists out there in the world. So anyway, so I think when it was known that like housing would be open like at the beginning, then we were all like, okay, well we got to go the day it opens because we got to get our housing, we got to get that neighborhood. And so then it became like, okay, well if we're moving and we're gonna, because we need to get our neighborhood, then they're gonna move because they want to also do the thing, and these guys are also gonna move because we're all interconnected. And it was like, all of the role players of the server were like, okay, we're all going. And I think SSG had expected there would be more of a dribble of people moving over and less of a flood of everybody all at once, at the same time. So I think that threw them off. Hang on, I just realized I've got the wrong server name up there. Where am I? I'm on Mariadoc. Or Mariadoc. I keep saying, excuse me, I keep saying his name wrong. I keep saying Mariadoc, but it's Mariadoc probably. Anyway. Yeah, so Erebani says, I did not bother removing my stuff from the housing chest because it had always gone flawlessly. And speaking frankly, I didn't have enough space in my bags for all the things. Truth. Exactly. I was like, oh my gosh, I was loading up my alts and being like, okay, you're taking all the stuff from this house until your stuff is full. You're taking all the stuff from this house until your stuff is full. I was like, oh my gosh, it was crazy. Yeah, everybody also says they had not expected so many players transferring at once. I agree. And they definitely had not expected even more players coming back for EU servers. I agree with that also. Yep. So there were thousands of new and returning players. Yeah, I think because it had made the news that, yeah, returning players were like, wow, that game's still going. I used to play that game, you know, and they came in to move their characters. And then new people were like, Lotro, oh, I've heard of that. Maybe I'll go check that out finally, you know, that sort of thing. Yeah. Oh, yeah, Kiss Chaos. Says, for example, I came back after probably 7 years away because of the new world's opening. The interest in the smoothing of wrinkles certainly took SSG by surprise. Yeah, it was crazy cakes. So it seems like things are more settled now. Like, it seems like things are good. Transfers seem to be going all right, so I'm happy about that. And the first thing... Well, anyway, yeah, I'll come back to that in a second. So everybody says, I think that premium housing system is the main culprit here. Really? We did not have it back then during the first server merge, so something in the code is messing up with housing chests. Oh. Interesting. Yeah, I know, that's an interesting theory. I hadn't thought about that. Well, that would make kind of sense. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, Kiss Chaos. I have not looked into premium housing. What's the difference? Well, a number of things. First of all, this is a house. Let me step outside. Step outside. Okay, so I have a house, you know, as you would expect a house might look like. And it's, oh, I forgot. Sorry, it's a small map. You know what? I can, hang on. Let me pick a different UI skin. The UI skin, the JRR skins collection that I utilize, which I love it, by the way, by default, it comes with that small map, which is lovely when you're trying to see other things while you are also looking at the map. But because I use it so much for streaming, I prefer to have a big map when I'm streaming. So you can just go in to the code and it explains it on the page on how to do this. You can just go into the code and you just remove the lines that say make the map this size, and then by default the map is larger. But I've only done this on a couple of them because I just do it on the ones that I use all the time. Where is Spirit of Elfhead one of the ones I've done? Let's find out. I'm trying to remember the Hobbit one that I use. Nope, it's not that one. Oh, maybe I have to log out, log back in. Well, if that's the case, then we'll just roll forward here in a second. Okay, so not Umbar, Monsters Lair. Oh, whoop, hello. Nope, not Umbar. Although that's lovely. Main theme, no. Grey Wizard, no. Airport, no. Delving Hills, that's probably the one. I think that's the one that I use on my Hobbits. Is it wide 1 or wide 2? Oh, I think it's this one. This is the one I usually use on my Hobbits, I think. Okay, I think I have to log out and log back in for the changes on the map to take effect. Sorry. Okay, so we'll just do our best here. But basically, this is a housing neighborhood of the Lindleby homesteads. So just like the others, actually, maybe, okay, short answer, the difference between premium housing and standard or original housing is the original housing had the 4 different areas. So you've got the Shire homesteads, Breland homesteads, and they all have different kind of themes to them. So like the Shire one looks very Hobbity, looks a bit like this. The Breland one is like made of wood, wooden houses, that kind of look, each neighborhood. The Elven neighborhood had those tall, wide, curves with the kind of like ornate, spindly looking things put in it. And then the dwarven housing up by Thorns Hall is built into the mountain. It's a lot of rock and a lot of like hard angles and that kind of look, and inlays with rock and minerals, perhaps, right? So those are the four original ones. And when you're buying one of those houses, you use your regular coins, your in-game coins, so like your gold, and they cost like 1 to 2 gold for one of the smaller houses, which has like one room plus a small adjacent room, or like 7 gold for a house that has 1 room and 2 adjacent rooms. And you get more housing hooks. I'm not sure if you're familiar with housing hooks, but basically when you are decorating your house, and you may already know this, when you turn on decoration mode, it looks like this. You get all these weird boxes that show up. And when you click on a box, it has a little spot there, and you can, I don't have anything in my inventory, but you can, here, I'll go to something that already has something in it. You can put something in and out of that hook space, and then it allows you to have it there, and you can manipulate things like, is it, forward, you can rotate it, you can move it forward and backward, left and right, that sort of thing. And then you save that. So you have more housing hooks in those 7 to 8 gold costing houses than you do in the smaller 1 to 2 gold costing houses. Okay, so that's like standard normal housing that first came out in the game, ages ago. So that would be off an Eriador. You've got in Erluin, you've got the Thorns Hall homesteads up by Thorin's Gate. You've got Balathlorn, that's the elven housing down by Calendim. Over in the Shire, you've got the Shire homestead. Sorry, it's behind my head. It's like right here. And over in Bree, you've got the Breeland homesteads, like right there. Just south of Breetown. Then they added premium housing, and the first one they came out with is actually over here in Gondor in Belfalas. Can I not zoom in? Western Gondor. That's the best I can do. Okay. The Havens of Belfalas, and the housing is located like out here. I think the Cape of, here it is in the Cape of Belfalas. So this is a housing neighborhood. And each of these houses is massive compared to the housing that you would buy those standard houses. Like, you could also buy a kin house in those standard houses, and they would cost like 15 to 16 gold. The smallest house you can get in the Cape of Belfast is basically the same number of hooks and same kind of size as a kin house. So it's massive compared to the smaller houses you could normally buy. The thing is, the kicker though with this is you can't buy it with your in-game gold. You have to use mithril coins or a special currency called housing writs. You can buy housing writs with Lotro points. So you could use your Lotro points to either buy housing writs or buy mithril coins, and then you would use one of those two things to buy the premium house. So it's going to cost you, because in order to get to the point where you've got the mithril coins or the housing writs to buy these things, you have to have accumulated enough Lotro points to do that. Now, maybe you do a lot of questing, and maybe you got a lot of alts, and you end up accumulating a lot of Lotro points just organically. So yes, you can buy these houses without ever spending a single coin outside of the game, but I would guess, just a wager, that the majority, like, it's probably more people who have spent money to buy mithril coins or to buy Lotro coins, have, people have probably spent real world money. Those people are probably, this Venn diagram of people who spend real world money in Lotro and people who buy premium housing in Lotro. That's probably a pretty heavy overlap, I would guess. So let me actually pop over there real quick. Oh yeah, so let me pop over there because I do have a house there on One Cape Road in Belfast. So that was the first premium housing that came out, and it's each one of the premium housing neighborhoods, this whole setup has a different look and feel to it from any other housing. So they've continued to do that. So like you see how this is very like, it's got a marble kind of look. It's very stately. It is still very, let me turn my way that way. It is still very race of man though, if you ask me, because it's Gondor, right? We're hanging out in the Gondorian area. So it definitely has that, it still has that very race of man style to it. It's got a lot of cool stuff going on. I love this house because I'm right by the water and you can watch the boats go by. And the music here is fantastic. I don't know if you can hear the music. But just the ambient music is gorgeous, and there's like always birds flying around and stuff. It's a really lovely environment that they've created here. The thing that most people find, though, with these houses, the main complaint is they're a little sterile. I mean, it is like wall-to-wall marble, and it takes some creativity to give it a warmth. Now, I've worked on this for a while, so I have managed to provide some warmth. Now, the ceiling is the ceiling. You can't do anything about that. But the walls, you can decorate just like you can in a regular house. So you've got wall color and also wallpaper that you can do. But so, let me scooch in here. I've done some wacky stuff with this house. I'm still playing around with it. Oh yeah, it has little star speckles on it, so I've actually colored. I've added blue coloring to this wall. But this is the wall. This is the wall that, as it looks normally, is just this kind of marble thing going on here. And again, you can't do anything about the ceiling. I mean, you can't decorate the ceiling. You can try to cover it up. There's people... One thing that it did is it really has caused people to be very creative with how to decorate these houses. So this is one of the small ones, but you can already see it's quite massive, really. I've got this upstairs area with the two different sides upstairs. Like, it's pretty big. I had one of the big ones before, but I decided to buy a small one when we moved servers. So let me go back outside and we're going to look at a map again real quick. So looking at a map of the neighborhood, you can see these are all, the houses are kind of dotted up and down the hook together. And then you'll notice there are two islands out here that look like they have a house on them, and they do. There are two kinds of kinship houses that you can buy out here in Belfast, in the Cape of Belfast. One is the kind that's up here on the island itself, and they're huge. Or you can buy that exact same house. It's the same footprint and layout and everything, but it's located on an island. So you can have your own private island for your kinship. So the kinship housing here was extremely popular when this came out. And even still, it's really hard to get. Now, with the new servers, and they promised us they would have plenty of neighborhoods, and the one percenters in Lotro. But at least they're sharing it with their kinship. Like, it's not just for them, right? But yeah, so that's really, those are really cool. The first kinship I was a part of had a kinship island, and they were like, we have a kinship island, you should join us. I was like, okay, I don't know what that means, but sure. Little did I know how cool they were. Yeah, and so then you've got the center of town here. Sorry, I got a little stuff in my throat, and my cough drop just ran out. I think I'm out of cough drops. So sad. We'll just muddle through together. Anyway, you've got a center of town there where you've got the task boards, you've got a stable master, You've got Wenda, you've got all that kind of in the center there. And there's also another like mini version of that down here at the point, which is why I don't mind having my house down here, because if I am going from here and I want to go talk to Wenda or something, I can just ride across and it's right nearby. There's also the housing broker. So there's a housing broker for each neighborhood, and there is that for the standard neighborhoods too. You may not have ever noticed, but there actually is. So the housing broker for this neighborhood has a quest, and they send you here, and you walk up and down, and you kind of get to know the neighborhood. So that's kind of fun. But yes, we have task boards over here, a housing furnisher. Got some skirmishy people, town crier, but Wenda is right here, so that's really handy. And a vault keeper. And then inside this building, I forget who's in here. Oh, a couple of quest people. Here's the housing broker, and I can pick up the quest from her here. She's also located by the Boar Fountain in Bree, sorry. And then there's also there is a housing broker's office in Bree. And so she's also able to be found there. But yeah, there's a couple of quests you can do that kind of just run you around the neighborhood, and you kind of get to know the space a little bit more. So that's fun. So they did a really nice job of just creating kind of basically like a real upscale kind of place here. So this came out, I forget what year. I have a whole video about this somewhere else. But basically then like 5 years later or so, it was a while, they came out with the next premium housing. And let me think. I'm not. Oh yeah, I do. And that is over in Rohan. So they got so excited, and it had been so long, I think, that they made 2 different neighborhoods in Rohan that were released at the same time. One of them is this one, which is more of a plains style. It's wide open, prairie. We've got, here, let me show you the map. So we've got this like circle road that goes around. We've got some water, got a big lake over here, got another like lake river happening over here. There's a mead hall in the middle, which is not a kin house. You can buy it as a regular house. Again, this is all for mithril or housing writs. Keep that in mind. But then all the houses kind of come out of the spoke, the center spoke from that to here. This is located though, hang on, let me go back out. We are, let's see, which one am I in? I am in Kingstead Homesteads. I get them mixed up. Okay, so yeah, so I'm in Kingstead Homesteads, which is located on the landscape. You can like right up to it, just like you can the regular houses that originally started. So it's like located right in here. Yeah, there it is, Kingstead Meadows Homesteads. So like we're located right outside of Edoras, basically. Like you can look over, if you get just the right angle, you can look over and see Edoras over there. So that's really cool. Now the other housing neighborhood is Eastfold, and that is up here. And it looks like this, and it's very mountainous, lots of trees, lots of evergreen trees, and it's very like the elevation, so there's houses that are up high, there's houses that are down low. Peak Way is up at the top, and then you just kind of fall down the mountain from there. There's the mead hall over there, and the houses are popped in and out. Some are inside the circle, some are on the outside of the circle. And that's also, and then you can see Edoras is right over, like you can see Edoras from basically every house. So that's kind of cool. My house, I have done, okay, so they added extra interesting things to each time they came out with a new premium neighborhood. They've added something to the premium neighborhood that didn't exist in the previous ones, I think because they're just having so much fun with it. So when they added these guys, they added this thing called ambient environments. So you notice how like I'm out here, I'm like it's daytime, whatever. But I have added an ambient environment to my house that is like a winter thing. I think I got this, actually I can check what it is. So you see I have ambient environment here. This is Wildermore, Balewood. So I have decorated it as if we're in the Balewood in Wildermore. And so it's all very snowy and gray and wintry, because I'm turning this into a winter house. I'm making it like a Yule themed wintry house. So I've been trying to like decorate each of my houses with a different theme. So this is the Yule house. So Nerobit says this game needs Spanish translation, I think is what you were trying to say. I'm sure it does. I don't work for SSG, so I have no influence or information, unfortunately. But yes, I do understand that there is a huge Spanish-speaking population on this planet, and boy, wouldn't it be cool if that was something available for the game. As it turns out, they do it in 3 different languages right now, just because that was how it was when the game started. But I don't expect that they would add any more languages unless there was some way that yeah, they'd have to hire a whole bunch more people. Because part of the problem they have right now, I do know this, is everything that they publish, like anytime Cordovan puts out like a news, like the weekly news, he has to do it in English, French, and German. They can't publish it until, so I think they write it in English and then they send it off to be translated, localized for German and French. They can't publish it until both of those come back. So they have one person who's in charge of getting that, and keeping on that, but they themselves don't do the translations. There are other people who are doing those translations. So yeah, the complication just exponentially balloons as you add more and more languages. But anyway, so this is what the house is looking like now, because I've decorated it all Yule style. But you could see inside, it's got like the wooden beams and like it's very wooden architecture normally. I've just done a lot to add silliness to it. But yeah, you've got a little basement, you've got an upstairs, you've got a ridiculously huge yard. Oh my gosh, Kiss Chaos, yes. I can't imagine the amount of text that would require translation all at once. Yeah, if you were to add a new language, it would probably take a year, I would think, just to get everything in the game already translated. Now, I think there might be some plugins that can do some translation like on the fly for you. But yeah, I don't think anybody's gone and translated the whole game at this point. So, but yeah, so this is my Rohan house, and I've done it, like I said, I've made it all very wintry Yule styled. And my hope is to have like a Yule party here at some point. I think that'd be fun. Now, one of the things that they did, I can't probably go down there, is with this neighborhood, the 2 Rohan neighborhoods actually, they added 2 extra special houses, one for each neighborhood. So in this neighborhood, there's a house, I think it's maybe this first one, that comes with a cave as a separate room. And then, yeah, I think it's this one. So you come to the backyard, and then you go down this little slope. Now, it depends on if this person has it open to public or not, but we'll find out. Nope, I don't have permission. But it's basically, it looks like that. Like what you can see right here, that's what it looks like inside. But you can decorate it, you can add some lighting, and there's a couple of hooks and stuff in there, so you could like put a little bit of furniture and stuff in there. It's kind of cute. So that's the special house for this neighborhood. And then for the Rohan mountainy location, there's up at the very top, there's one that has a tower, and it's not a tower like that, it's more of a the stone tower, and you can go up on top and look out from there. Oh, and then there's also like a little side parking lot in a way where you can also do some yes, your secret pipeweed stash cave, there you go. But all of these houses come with like these extra outbuildings. So you've got like you've got your house here, and you've got like a little mini stable there. You've got a well. You've got another space and a stable, and you've got like a little barn. So yeah, you've got a lot of space in these houses. Oh my gosh, I should write up and show you the. Let me show you a mead hall real quick before I forget, because it is insane. I know that you can write. Oh yeah, look at that. Somebody's decorated their house with a whole bunch of big stuff. Those are some massive structures. Oh, that's wild. All right. Oh, and that house. I wonder if somebody bought, if it's the same person or same kinship. I know one person in the neighborhood, and so I decided to go ahead and, so that way I'm like with at least one person that I know. So this, here, let me approach it from the front actually. This is the mead hall, but so you've got an outbuilding here. We've got outbuilding here. Oh, dang it. I'm trying to remember how to do controls in Lotro. I keep switching games, and so I keep changing how to walk sideways. Okay, so this is how you might approach a mead hall. 2 Colt Road. So there it is. That is your house. It's insane. And then yeah, you've got all these extra little outbuildings. Some of them you can go in, and some of them you cannot. Oh hey, hi. So yeah, it's pretty wild. Cute. Theodore goes. Let's see. Can we go in? Let's find out. Oh, we can. Nice. I try to make my homes public so people can walk in and at least look at stuff that's in there. Aw, kitty's looking cute. Oh yeah, Kiss Chaos says, I like that they've implemented outdoor spaces. When I played from the beginning, it was just interior. Yeah, it's so much fun, all the stuff you can do now with housing. So this is your mead hall. And the mead halls in this neighborhood and in the mountain neighborhood have a lot of similarities, but there's a few changes. So one of the similarities is this long hall here. And then, let me pull up a map. So we're in this long hall, and then off to the side you have identical looking side areas. So if I were to go around and go over here, yeah, so you've got like this side area here, and then a back room here, and then and you can go across, and it's the same thing on the other side. You've got the same big room here leading to a narrower space there. Then you also have, well, you've got this big space here where you can put whatever you want. Nice. They've put a replica of the throne. Seems pretty reasonable. Oh, I like the nice tapestry. And then you've got stairs where you can go up and up and up. Now the thing with these is that it doesn't come with lighting. You have to add your own lighting. So that's why it might look a little dark in here, because perhaps they haven't added a lot of lighting. But then you can customize the look of your place. You can use very spot lighting, or you could use fill lighting. You could have it intense. You could have it mild. Like there's a whole bunch of different options. So the front door is there. How funny. So we're upstairs from there, and then you've got like this little side area here where you can walk up here, and then you can see that throne that we were just looking at. So that both houses, both mead hall versions have that. This one has an extra outbuilding, and the one in the mountains has a basement. So you would go down the stairs here and down that way, and then you get like a room area where it's basically like you've got kind of a center hallway, and then you've got 1, 2, 3 rooms on each side coming off of that, with 4 hooks in each one, maybe. Plus what you can do with wallpaper and wall lighting as well. So, excuse me. Okay, so that's what the Rohan and the Rohirric neighborhoods look like. Oh, in the center of town for this one, this was a cool thing they did actually. Let me pop over to the center of town. All of your crafting needs Oh yeah, so this barn, you can enter it. Well, actually, we should be able to enter it because they let us in the main hall. We should be able to get in here. Maybe I can. Yeah, check this out. It's like this whole massive barn. So the door we came in is right there. And then it's like this big barn. And you can actually get up there. There's stairs to go up as well over here on the side. So isn't this crazy? It's like huge. So you have all this space. And it also has its own lighting, its own hooks, everything. You can like decorate this completely as well. It's insane. But yeah, so all your crafting needs are also handled. I love how it took a minute to resolve, so it was just a big door there. So let me get back to the road. Yeah, okay, cool. Oh, and they also have like a neighborhood faction that you can earn reputation with. So that's Wenda. Oh, I put the names back on. Here she is. Berginda. If you own a house in the neighborhood, you can talk to her, and she can give you like a quest to kick it off, and then you get you can come back to her, and then there's like a daily repeatable thing where you've got to like go out to the field and do a thing here and go over and do some fishing, or I don't know, I forget what it was. It's been a while since I did it. And as you earn reputation with them, there's like 4 levels of reputation or something, and 2 of the levels give you a housing item that is Rohirric in style. So that's really fascinating to me. So here in this building, and this is like this in the mountain one too, we have, there you go, you have your study if you need it, provisioner oven for the cooking, the supplier is there, and you get a discount if you own a house in the neighborhood for the supplier. It's just like having a supplier in your yard. You get a discount on these guys too, which is nice. And then here you've got your forge master. There's the workbench. Yeah. So you've got all the things you need to do crafting, except for a farm. I don't understand why, but there's no farmland here. You'd be like, hello, there's all this farm. Like, why is there no farmland? But I don't know. For some reason, there's no farmland here. I'm sorry. But everywhere, everything else you need. Oh, you can't zoom in. But yeah, task boards here, forge workbench supplier, forge master, oven, vault keeper, auctioneer, study, healer, and provisioner, but no farm. So, get your own farm, put it in your own yard, I guess. Anyway, so that is what they did with the Rohirric ones. So then, like 2 years later, I think people had the bug now. So then came, oh my gosh, what came next? Erebor, I think, right? Yeah, I think Erebor came next, which is very dwarven. It's gorgeous. It really reminds me a little bit of like Wizard of Oz. It's got a lot of like black marble and then like green inlaid marble. And in the middle of it, it's underground. It's rock. Maybe it's not underground, but there's definitely no light from the outside. there's no wall. There's no windows. Yeah, I'm gonna ride to the person. I don't have travel. I don't have Lalia's travel with this character. Otherwise, I'd have just popped right straight over there. Hi, Casper came by for a moment. He's so funny. You can tell when he's barely awake because he like gets up and he's like, then he wanders off. So Box of Nothing says, I prefer Eastfold to Kingstead. You know what's so funny is I'm like obviously huge on housing, and I still cannot get the names straight. Which one is Kingfold? Which one is Eastfold and which one is Kingstead? You see what I mean? I'm like, just cannot get it straight. I like the mountains one a lot, but traversing around in there I found difficult. And I really like the openness and the flatness of the plains one. So that's why I end up there. Okay, so in case you're curious where we are, so here's like Tad Ashmead, talking to the people. There's the mayor's office. We just came from the Boar Fountain up there. And if you were to continue going south, you ended up at the south gate down there. Over here is a broker's office. And this was something they created after Eastfold, maybe? Because it was just getting to the point where you're like, there's so many different ways. Oh, no, it was after Rohan, because so many people wanted to buy Rohan houses. But to get to the place to purchase, you had to go to like the neighborhoods, which is out in Rohan. Now, if you're a level 20 character trying to get out to Rohan, it's not going to go too well. So that was a situation that happened. Or sometimes people managed to get themselves there using mithril coins or whatever. You know, somebody captained them there. But then it'd be like, you're in a too high level area for your character, and it would port them out. They're like, I'm just trying to buy a house. So then they created this broker's office. So all of the original housing people are here. So you've got Andy, who does the Shire. You've got Nan Henwood. She's the Breland housing. You've got Rooney for Thorin's Hall. And where's our elf? There. Bar Chiril for the Falthorn housing broker. So those are the original 4 housing. And then you've got... here she is. Yeah, Nothwin for the Cape of Belfast. She's also at the Moor Fountain. And then they added Celiflad for Rohan Eastfold, and Berginda for the Kingstead. That's where I end up. Hey, Ben. What you thinking, Casper? I think he's going to curl up next to me. He really likes to do that. He comes and he just like and flops down right next to me. Box of Nothing says, still, I'm not a Hobbit fan, but I must admit Lindleby is the best premium housing for now. We will definitely take a look at that. I figure we'll save that one for last, since I'm kind of doing them in order anyway. So the next one then was the Erebor housing. Here's another cool thing they added in the broker's house, space here. So you could talk to the person and they'll be like, you know, purchase a house. Here's all the houses that I have available for purchase. Great. But let's say you want to go to a party at somebody's house and they're in a neighborhood where all the houses have been purchased. How do you get there? Because the shortcut was always you just travel to a house that's available for sale, and then you're in the neighborhood, then you just go find their house. Well, they added a new thing where you have the housing broker has a book next to them, the ledger. And you open the ledger and it has every single neighborhood listed, whether it's sold out or not. And then you can just like be like, oh yeah, my friends, they're in Athland. Please send me there. And poof, off you go. So this is what the Erebor homesteads look like. Let me see what it is. Oh yeah, so that's the way out. So let's go in. Yeah, Box of Nothing says you can visit houses. What the problem is, Box of Nothing, let's say I have a house in this neighborhood and this neighborhood is sold out. There's no way for you to travel to my house with that, you know, because you can't, there's no, yeah, you don't have travel skill to get to my, like if we're not in the same kinship, let's say, you don't have a way to get to me. And so that was a workaround that they created. Well, I should say, that was a way they created to make it work, because the workaround previously had been you find a house in the neighborhood that was not purchased, and that's how you could travel there. The other way is you could go out and then you come right back in. It would say, which neighborhood do you want to go into? And then you'd pick the right neighborhood. But now you can just travel by ledger, and it's way easier. So this is Erebor, and it is multi-layered. So the houses are in a ring around this central, that is a river of gold down there. You know, I think we probably shouldn't jump. We might just die. I'll tell you, I'm going to mount up though. Yeah, Box of Nothing says Erebor is a bit dark, but the Kin Hall is amazing. So here's my problem is I super get lost in here. So like, because you could go up there or you could go down here. And then there's more down. Yeah. You say multi-layered, I say here ankle breaky. That is exactly ankle breaky. So I would show you the kin house. I'm not 100% sure how to get to it. It's at one end or the other, I believe. But man, look at this architecture though. I mean, holy moly, it's something. Here, let me get my UI out the way. Like, this is really gorgeous. You know, it's really beautiful. But you can see why I think it's kind of like Wizard of Oz-esque, because it's got like, you know, there's a lot of green in here, and like we got marble. Oh yeah, this is the Wormhorde Bridge. That's supposed to tell me where I'm at. I'm so lost in here. But you've got like a lot of the green inlay, and then we've got like gold, but then there's also black marble, and I mean it's really beautiful in here. But I am just so lost so easy that I'm like, so this is actually the one housing type. I shouldn't say that. The two dwarven housing are the two housing types I have not purchased. This one and then the one in Thorns Hall. But look, it is a river of gold coins. So you can swim in the river of gold, Scrooge McDuck style. Kin Hall is at the northern end, huh? Okay. Let me, am I going north? I'm going north. All right, we might find it. Wish us luck. But yeah, I mean, check that out. It's really gorgeous. And they did some amazing stuff with it. Oh, the fancy house in here, we'll never find it, but there, maybe we were close to it at the beginning. The fancy house in here, because they did keep up that idea, is that there's one special house in the neighborhood, and that is, so you see these lights, these little crystals that are giving off light? The whole, not the whole house, part of the house has an area that you go through. It's a geode, thank you. That's all geode. It's the geode house. Cool, let's get out of the river. I just think it's so cool that you can like swim through the, swim in the river of gold. Isn't that fun? So yeah, so it's a whole house with like a whole space of geode that you walk through. So like, this is a house. This isn't the geode house. So you can decorate all of this forecourt, and then you go in, and I think this is where the geode part would be. Yeah, like there's a geode part, or maybe it's out there. I forget. But look how green and stuff it is in here. Like, it's really pretty. Here, I'll just show you the map of the house. Oh, that doesn't help. All right. Well, the house is big, and it's multi-layered again. There's stairs going up, and then, here, let me go outside. There's a balcony up above, and this is where they added in, like, what do they call it? Like, you can move stuff up and down. There's some balcony up there. Maybe that's the balcony for the house. So you've got, like, down here you can decorate, inside you can decorate, up there somewhere you can decorate. Like, there's a lot going on here. Oh, only the Kin Hall has balconies. Oh, okay. Box of Nothing knows a lot more about this one than I do, as you can tell. But I know they introduced, what is it called? There's a housing hook that, mobile housing hooks. That's what they introduced, because then it allows you to lift things up and down, because of the whole balcony situation. So these are all houses like left and right of us here. We have Ironfoot Road, Oakenshield Way. I'm on the Wormhorde Bridge. I tell you about every 10 times I come in here, I figure out a little bit more about how to get around. It's like getting around in Moria. Maybe that's why I'm like, I'm not buying a house here because I can't find my way around Moria. Are you thinking I can find my way around this neighborhood? Not even a chance. But yeah, so those are some more houses. But they are very beautiful. If I could get a house like this out on landscape, I would consider it. But I just don't like being inside the deep darkness. Oh. Nope. Okay. Maybe I have to go to the side? All right, help me out here, Box of Nothing. How do I get to the Kin house? Oh, yeah, check this out. There's also this, like, freight elevator. Yeah? Isn't that wild? I have either gone up or down. I'm not certain. Oh, hey, maybe we found the kin house, though. Okay, yes, this must be a kin house. Can we get in? Well, thanks, folks. You're awesome. I do appreciate it when people leave their houses available for visiting. Okay, so now, like, this is insane, right? This is all still, yeah. Oh, we've got a Svalby property card. Nice. Maybe I've gone the wrong way? Or is this whole thing their kin house? So lost. Somewhere around here there is a house. Is this all part of their house? That's their yard? This is insane. See, I have a brain like a hobbit. I don't understand all this rock. Oh, here we go. So then, let me see. Will it show me what's inside? Well, we'll find out if I can go in. Because you can set different permissions. Well, that was the idea. I'm not sure if it actually came to work. But you supposedly being able to set different permissions from coming in the gate versus coming in the house. Crazy, huh? Oh, yeah. So here you go. You can look out upon the masses from the balcony, from this balcony. There's also, oh, yeah, there's another balcony up there. And yeah, this is insane, right? Like, this house does my head in. That's wild, huh? So crazy. Okay, there we go. Box of Nothing says the kin house itself has 3 floors. So we haven't even gotten inside the house. Anyway, so that's Erebor. So Erebor was the next one that they came out with, and that was the mobile hooks. They could lift up and down. But I believe there's still the ambient environments. And let's see, when did they add outdoor music? You can have music in your yard, basically, now. That doesn't have to match the music in your house. So that was also some cool stuff. And I can't remember if that came out with this one or if that came out with a different housing. The nice thing is they've been able with a lot of the premium housing is to kind of reverse it. So the environments, I don't think you can do environments in Belfalas, but the rest of them you can. The music, I think you can do in all of them, maybe the outdoor music. So yeah, so there's a lot of really cool things you can do in the premium housing. Okay, and so then the last one that they've come out with, and that is the Lindleby homesteads. And so it's out in the area of Lindleby where the hobbits are, earlier hobbits, not proto-hobbits, but hobbits that didn't go across, didn't go to the Shire. So that is the most recent of the neighborhoods that have come out. Premium neighborhoods. Well, neighborhoods in total, really. They haven't added any more non-premium houses, put it that way. So the neighborhood looks like this. So the town of Lindleby is over there, and then you would make your way in, or you'd come through a housing broker or whatever. And so there's a house way up here, and then there's houses like dotted out and tucked. They're just kind of tucked away into the little corners of here and there. There's 2 special houses. The way they did the houses here was a little bit different. So, for example, in Belfast, you had the kin house, and then you had like the deluxe houses. Those are the big ones. And then you had like the standard houses, and that was the smaller ones. And they've been playing around with, what is the inventory of each of these neighborhoods. And so, like, for example, with the with Rohan, they did 0 kin houses. They had all one type of house, or you could have the mead hall, or you could have the house with the special feature. So there was one mead hall, one house with special feature, and then the rest were houses, deluxe houses. With Lindleby, they've done it even more different again. Actually, let me show you. Okay, so they went back to kin house. So there's a kin house in the neighborhood, and I can show you that. It's really cool. You have your deluxe houses, which have 2 doors and a lot of space. You have your standard house, which has 1 door and less space. But then you also have, of the standard houses, there's a special one. And of your deluxe houses, there's a special one. So as Box of Nothing points out, there's 2 special houses in Lindleby, one that's smaller, one that's bigger. Yeah, and I think they're cool, but they're kind of far away from things, and so I don't like that as much. So this house, this is the layout of the house, and it looks small on my screen, but it's actually quite significantly sized. So like I've come in the door and now I'm not done decorating here. I've had to undecorate previously, and now I've got to remember how I did everything. So, but you've got that room, and you've got another side room here, which actually has like a little alcove space here, and then that passes through. We'll go by there in a minute. But then this room, so front door was there. If we had gone straight through, that takes us into this room, which I haven't done a lot of lighting, so it's a little dark in here. I've got some pink lighting here, but I don't have any lighting over there, so that's why it's a little dark. And then you got a little side room here where I put the kegs. So I'm working on getting the kegs back in. And then I had a little seating area, so I'm like throwing stuff in hooks and getting them into the room, and then I got to organize it. Then you've got like a little area downstairs with like all these little side rooms, which I kind of usually just steal all the hooks from them, but I thought I'd at least decorate the walls. And then a lot of times I have been putting like a false wall across here. So basically you come in and you go around the wall, and there's like a little bedroom space. So a little privacy there. But then that takes you back up to the way we didn't go. So let me come back over here. So find your way back to Bilbo. So our front door was here. So we came in this front door here. We have a side room there, which takes us more places. Big room. And we went down that ramp there. Or we can go through this room where I've got Bilbo hanging out, and that takes us into this room, which also has its own little alcove space. Again, we're going to steal those hooks. And here's my second door, and then this room up here, and then there's the ramp that takes us back down to that bedroom space. So this is like your typical deluxe home here. The bigger of the houses, and then you get a whole bunch of hooks outside that you can work with. Yeah, Kissed Chaos says we need Lothlorien housing. Could you imagine living in like a housing flat? Oh my gosh, that'd be insane. One of the things they added with this housing was fences. So this is actually a fence style that I purchased. You go and you buy them from the brokers. And so this one is a hedge with yellow flowers. And I thought that was really cute. I thought that was great for a Hobbit-y style look. But you can have all sorts of different kinds of options. Where was that house? Hang on a second. Oh, let's go over this way a little bit. I have a tendency to just drop down on things. It's kind of funny. There is one house in our neighborhood that's currently unoccupied, and it is one of the standard size houses, which is why it's currently unoccupied. But I used to own this house over on Laurelin, and I like it a lot. So this is 3 Floodside Road, and the yard is massive. The yard goes all the way to there and all the way to here. Now, it has the same number of housing hooks as any other standard house in here, so that's not any different. It's just the way they rearrange it is a little different. So this house, you can see how it's just kind of like more of a crisscross. So it's not quite as big as the one we were just in, but it has the little side room here. It has the side room over here. Yes. I'm not dropping or falling. I'm consistently testing the continuity of gravity. So here's your long room, like in the other one, but notice it's not quite as big. And then also we've got these side rooms off of it. So we don't have a ramp going down or anything because there isn't. But it is funny because some of these little side rooms connect to each other. So that's kind of fun for to pretend like you have storage or something. Actually, let me go back to the front door to get your bearings again. Okay, so the front door is here. We came in, we saw the little side room there. We saw the big room with the little side rooms off of it. You come in here, this is kind of that again. So this is where I had like my bilbo and stuff. And so then this doesn't have that ramp going down or anything. It's almost like it took that room at the bottom and just plopped it here. And that's what you got. Like that's as far as it goes. So there's no second door or any of that business. But there's still tons of space and tons of hooks. So I used to have a good time decorating that one. But anyway, so that's what the small one looks like. Small. It's not small. In my opinion, it's not that small. But let's go back to the center because, yeah. So as Box Nothing is pointing out, so the small the special regular house has a cave with a view into Goblin Town. And then the deluxe version has a waterfall cave. Now, the waterfall cave is really cool. So let's see if we can find one of those houses to go visit. We want to see. Okay, so you see there's all these different versions. So there's the kinship. Oh, we didn't go see a kinship one. Oh, we'll take a look at that in a minute. So you have the small, and then the stately small, the deluxe, the stately deluxe. So that's what the scoop is there. So let's go look at, let's start with a stately small. Just show me those. Did it do it? Oh, it refreshed it, but all of it. Hang it. No, that's not what I want. Oh, it's okay. We can figure it out. The stately small is this one, right? Yeah, okay. Oh, it's because these are all the neighborhoods with one available. Wow, there's a lot of them available. I'm surprised. Shot. All right, we'll just travel to that one. Let's tour that house. So it's going to look very familiar in that you've got like a little stable up at the beginning. And they all have like this little archway, which is super cute. This one is cool in the sense that you've got like a little rock outcropping. So this is a great place to put like a gazebo. And you've got some great views. So that's pretty neat. I had purchased this house at one point over on Treebeard, but I was too far away because on the map, it's like way up here. And I thought I was just too far away from the center of town. I didn't like that. So I ended up selling it and buying a different one instead. One closer to the center of town. Let me in, let me in. Okay, so again, we've got our little crisscross like normal, but notice that there's like this extra bit over here. So if we were to look, so there's our side room, here's our big hall with its little side rooms. And so this comes across, and here's that bedroom, but now we do have a ramp down. Dun, dun, dun. So you come down here, and you've got this reasonably sized room, and then you can look out, and you see there's a fire, there's little windows or something going on. Yeah, there's stuff down there. So, yeah. That was the other reason I sold the house, because I was like, oh, I'm kind of creeped out by the Goblin Town. Now, you can't jump in there. It won't let you actually go in. But what I did is I decorated the walls with some wallpaper, and then I had a wall that was the same pattern, and so I put the wall here in front of it, and then there was a little opening over here that it wouldn't fill, so I got that waterfall. There's a waterfall feature you can get that's a ceiling hook, and so I had a waterfall falling there, so it looked like there was rain coming down. Well, hey, we have 5 raiders from the Masters of Dungeons. Hello, welcome. We're just doing some housing chat. Okay, so that's what the deluxe small looks like. Let me go get us over to, oh, it's going to take forever. Here, I'll show you why I don't like living out in this house. How long does it take us to get to the center of the town? Now, for real, it doesn't take that long, but it feels like forever. but the ride is nice. So at least you get to see that. So we'll do that. So we'll ride all the way back, or skate, however you want to look at it. So you've got a bridge here, which is lovely. I mean, isn't that gorgeous? You know, so there's some nice stuff going on. All right, so we'll just keep on riding. And go through the bushes. There are little lights along the way, but they're not lit up during the day. Another bridge. I think you can fish here. So that's kind of fun. Oh yeah, you can also fish in the River of Gold. So that's funny. Master of Dungeons. Hello. Oh, thanks for posting up the freebie. So the freebie this week is a 100% crafting XP coupon. Use the coupon code KNOWITALL. All right, I've lost track where I am. Oh, I need to go that way. There I am. Oops. I got myself turned around for a second there. Yeah, and you've got a lot of water here in Lindleby, and that's really lovely. And you can do a lot of fishing here too, which is kind of sweet. So I like that. Okay, so that's the basic one, and let's go look at a fancy schmancy one. So we want to look at the deluxe one. That's 2 Glenmouth Path. So let's tour that one. So this one is located out here. Like, actually, it's up here. So again, you're kind of far from town, although not as far as that one, in my opinion. This one's kind of fun because this river is within your property, so you can put like a boat or other things in the water. But a lot of times I'll put a boat in the water here. It's kind of fun. I've seen other people do that. You can put horses there. So because this is a deluxe, you've got the 2 doors. So boom, boom. You also can decorate up above. I think there's a couple of hooks up there, which that's kind of cool. So this one really opens up a bit compared to some of the other ones. I'm trying to think of other deluxe houses where you can decorate above. And I can't think of any. But yeah, I'm pretty sure you can put there's some decorating hooks up here. Oh, no, we can't see the decorating hooks. I wish you could see the hooks when you're previewing a house. That would be really cool. But okay, so this is like my big house. Oh, we came in the other door, sorry. But basically, yeah, you can kind of see the map there. So we've got, this is where I had one of my Bilbos. And then if you run over here, here's where the other Bilbo was. Here's the big room that I haven't finished decorating on my other house. So here's that ramp down. And that's where I do the, coming over here. This is where I kind of usually put a half wall, make a little bedroom over there. But then instead of just these being little side things, they're actually openings into this space. So let me just show you that real quick from that side. So you can come in from those different entries and it brings you out to this. So you've got like waterfall happening and you have like a whole water's edge and everything. And you can swim and fish. So it's really cool. I love this one. This is actually a really cool house, and I'm surprised there are any of these available right now because this is one of the most popular houses for Lindleby especially, and maybe overall. And I just love that the whole water feature in your own backyard. That's amazing. In your own house. What I saw somebody do, which I thought was so clever, is they actually put a wall like through here. And they walled off part of the house inside as well. So you basically, like they walled this off. So it was as if they had 2 houses. So you have like this side with this door. And then I think they walled off somewhere in here. And then you have, as if you have, you know, this side of the house. And then you could go down this ramp, you know, to get down to there. So I thought that was really cool. So that's the deluxe version, or sorry, the fancy version of the deluxe house. Okay there, buddy. Sometimes he gets a little twitchy in his sleep. Like something's tickling him. Yeah, you're doing great, bud. So, Master of Dungeons, what all have you been working on today? Anything exciting? if you're still there. Oh, so we're going to pop back down to the center of town. Oh, I forgot I took out my UI. So we're going back to there so we can buy, or we can go and tour. Actually, I mean, we just want to tour. You know what? What if I go... Let's go to one of my houses. Because I'm pretty sure the Kin house in that neighborhood is owned by somebody we know. So they probably won't. They probably have it open. And if not, we'll go find one that's just open. But this one might be open and decorated a little bit, which makes it always look a little bit more interesting. A little more interesting to look at. Another drink. Oops, sorry, baby. So I've noticed that there's from here. Sorry, that's just me. From my house, there's like an ideal route to get to the center of town. Because I want to go like that way. So I'm thinking I should put a housing decoration in the yard out here to kind of like funnel me to the right spot. Hang on. I think that'd be funny. I just ride through this person's yard. Excuse me. All right. So now, oh yeah, we're going to go up to the Kin house. So the other house that I have, and it's not on this neighborhood, it's in a different neighborhood, but it's the same layout, of course, is this Edgemere Road over here. Yeah. So this is really handy because I love this location because you could just come out and you're just like, boom, and we are basically at the center of town. Because one of the things this neighborhood does have is farmland. So if you are a farmer, you can farm inside the neighborhood, which is great. And then you've got your workbench, your study, you've got a vault keeper there, the suppliers right here at the corner. The forge is over here. So it's got everything you need. And you've got window and then your housing boards here. One of my favorites, though, for location is this one Wellforth Way. It's my favorite location because it's so easy to get to the center of town right there. Now, 2 Wellforth Way, just up the hill, that one's also quite nice and easy to get to. But I'm over on Broadmead, and I'm liking it, though. It's unusual for me, but I'm liking it. I thought I'd try something different, on the new server. Now, we should get to a crossroads. Here we go. And I believe we go this way. Yeah. And then we're going to turn again. So there's a lot of cool little features in here. Like, look at this little gazebo sitting here. There's like this house that's not purchasable. But there's a lot of cute little touches in the Lindleby housing. So that's really nice. I'm pretty sure that's the way we want to go, right? Yes, we want to go this way. All right. Now, before and I volunteer here in town, and something came up today where they needed some help with some stuff. Okay, so here's the Kin house in Lindleby. Anyway, so B4 might not be streaming today because he is off doing some volunteer stuff right now. And yeah, okay. He was going to message me if he thought he'd be back in time for streaming. The other thing is they're moving a bunch of stuff, so it's also possible he's not really going to have the energy for streaming after all of that. So it may just be me today. Yeah, so it's possible that he's not going to be on stream today, which more for you all, but that's okay. You got plenty of videos to watch of him, right? So anyway, so this is the Kin house. Check out that little water mill over there. So cool. And then there's a building up there, and then building here and down here and down here. So it's huge. It's massive inside. Also, you have this ridiculously huge yard here and all over here. You've got your own gazebo, which does look out. Oh, nice. They put a fruit tree in. I'm pretty sure that's an addition. I don't think that came with the house. And you can look out over like a whole bunch of the town, and that's where we rode up. And where's the center of town from here? Oh, I should be staring right at it. It should be right over here. Oh, maybe it's right in there. Anyway, so they've got some nice views up here. All right, let's zoom back out so I can see where I'm going. I don't do well in first person mode. Oh, love those trees. If they didn't do, I think they did that. I think that, oh, maybe not. It's not letting me click on it. Well, that is so cool. All right, so then the main path would have brought me back over to here. And so then we have a door here. Well, let's just go in. Oh, maybe I don't have permission to be in. Oh, yummer. Okay, we can go to the center of town and go find another one. That's fine. Wonder if I just jump off of their space, will that be a problem? I'm not actually in the kinship with this character, so you know what I would love is if there was a way to be like, all characters from X kinship are allowed in, and that way you don't have to add people. So if you're like, because like this character is in that group's version of the Bjorning's kinship, for example. So wouldn't it be cool if you just be like, okay, our Bjorning kinship, they're also allowed in, you know, that kind of thing. That would be really handy. And, you know, our elven kinship, they're all allowed in. Okay, so going back to my earlier conversation about elves and stuff, the next housing, premium housing that's coming out is going to be in Rivendell. And they haven't released any pictures of what it looks like or anything, but the intention is to make it different enough from the other elven, the standard elven housing, and not also make it exactly like Rivendell. So I'm curious to see what it's going to look like. I'm really excited to see it, but we'll see how it comes out. Anyway, so that's due to come out this year, and I am definitely planning to buy a house in the new elven housing, premium housing neighborhood. So since I am doing that, I'm like, well, which elf will I use to buy one of the houses? It seems like it makes the most sense, you know, use one of my elves to buy an elven house. So yeah, I haven't decided. Okay, so let's go to this one, tour the house. So that's where I was like, well, I have that elf that I've been doing a whole lot of stuff with. So I don't want her to buy the house if I'm then going to send her over to another, you know, server. If I'm just going to turn around and send her over to Orcrist. I don't know. I can't decide what I'm going to do. Okay, so here's that again. We looked at before. We've got a gazebo over there. Oh, yes, the trees are a part of the place. That is so cool. All right, let's go in this door. Now, this one's for sale, so we have free reign to wander around all we want. So here it is. I wish I could zoom in because it is quite massive. So here's like the big hall. So you start in the big hall. No side rooms with little cushions on them for you to start in. We have this side room here. So massive with entry into other things. We've got this room here. Is this where the cushions are? They usually have a area with, oh no, that's the other door. Oh my gosh. It's been a while since I've been in one of these. Okay, so that's its own space. That's a whole house of itself. This one goes through to here. Which goes across and across and across. Okay. So this would lead you back out into that one. This goes across. This leads you out to this one. Oh, I was expecting it to go across. Hang on. Nope, not that one. Must be the next one. It is a bit of a rabbit warren. Okay, there's our couches with cushions by the windows. So we're facing the direction that a door would be. There is a door there and further over and so on. Okay, so now we're going backwards into the mountain, basically, into the hillside, and it's taking us up. So we have a room there for putting stuff in. All right, let's go here. This is another massive room with another door. Here, I'll show you. We'll go out that door here in a second. But yeah, and then we have a giant hall here, which goes over to there and continues. The kin houses are so big. Yeah, there's definitely a part of me that's like, I want one of these, but also, how would I manage it? And then you could take a ramp back down. But we wanted to go out that door, so I'll show you where that door goes. The cat is kneading while she's laying by my legs. That's so funny. Okay, so we go out this door, which is upstairs. Well, up the ramp stairs, kind of. So now we're up here in that big area that we saw in the hillside, and above what we were, where we went in originally. So we originally went in, let me see if I can get you a good look. So there's a space, there's a space, there's a space, and we originally went in here. And maybe I'll just mount up. This place is crazy. So yeah, so there's a door there. Was this one an actual door? Yeah, this one's a door over here. And then this one's a door over here. No, this one's not a door. That's right. This one makes you think there's a door, but there's no door on this side. But then if you go up, you do have a door up here. Crazy, right? This place is huge. So that is the Lindleby Kinship House. So my understanding, if you look at, for example, this neighborhood, there's like, how many houses? Like 12 or so different houses that you can buy here, including a kin house. One of the things that happens is the special house gets bought up, and all the other houses, some of them get bought because people want to be near each other or whatnot. But if all you're looking for is a special house and you're not looking to be with like kin members or anything, then the rest of the neighborhood has a tendency to sit empty. And so they're trying to figure out how to, not have that happen in the new housing. So my understanding is there's going to be fewer houses, so like 9 or so. There will be a kin house. And what else? And all the houses are the same, but they're going to just be like the yards and the environment around them, like, how tucked in is it or whatever, will be the unique parts of it. Because like, yeah, if we look at some of these neighborhoods, which one has the most? No, it's not really obvious. I'm thinking there's like 12 or so houses in the neighborhood because there's like 6. Yeah, I don't know, but there's a lot of houses in the neighborhood compared to what they're going to try to do with the Elven one. So I'll be interested to see how that turns out. So, okay. Well, there's a fun little neighborhood chat. I think what I want to do is I'm going to send my character off to Rivendell real quick. And then I'm going to do some of those further adventures with her. Because she is really close to level 45. Like, she's level 47, I think. And I've got her turtled. Oop, you're fine, baby. You don't have to move. Oh, I'm just moving my foot. My legs were getting a little sore. Ah, okay. And this is a good way to get legendary item experience, which is something I want if I'm going to fill in those boxes. So yeah, so you see how we've got like these red roofs and that kind of style here. I believe the housing, let's see, somebody figured out where they think it is. And it's on one of the hillsides in here somewhere. It's, I think, maybe on this side somewhere. But yeah, so it's tucked up in the hillside. I wonder if I can get a good look. Oh, I think it might be... No, that's too far away. But it's like tucked up in one of the hillsides. Now, it's not visible on landscape yet, I don't think. It might be like up there, though, by the waterfall. That might be it. So it might be up in there, or up in there, is where the new housing is going to be. But it's not open yet. It's not available to see on landscape. So sometimes on bull roar, I think maybe you can get a little bit of a glimpse of it from a distance. But yeah, not yet. Eventually, we'll see. Now let me see where I'm at by tokens. 2, 382. You know what? We can do this. We'll go ahead and just go for a little while and see how far we get. Right, babe? No. I got the other cat here. Sweet boy. Okay, so because there's a cap on tokens, on these tokens of further adventures, and with this guy, he sends you on an adventure, and then you come right back to him right here every single time. So if I get close to running out, or running close to the cap, I can just buy something from him real quick. But if I do the other one, which is the Elrohir and Eladan one, they take you on a quest around in basically a big circle. So you don't have the ability to spend the tokens while you're out and about with them. So I try to make sure I have room before I go and do a bunch of adventures with these guys. Yeah, I am going to guess that Before is definitely still busy with the volunteering stuff. So he will not be doing his stream today. And let me think, what is today? Today is the 10th. Okay, so next week I will probably be here streaming. I say probably. Got some stuff going on next week. So, but as long as things are not too backed up, I should be fine. If I'm on top of things, then I will be here streaming next week. If I'm running behind, then I will not. But hopefully everything will be fine. But then I will not be streaming on the 24th. And the 1st is a maybe, but I would say probably not. I expect I'll be pretty busy that day. But there's a chance. But I would put it a pretty low chance. Yeah, so probably here next week. Definitely not here the 24th. So yeah, probably here the 17th. Definitely not the 24th. Probably not the 1st of July. But the nice thing is we will have some festival going on by then. So that'll be nice. The Midsummer Festival is coming up. That'll be great. I do enjoy festival time. All right, so now we're going to pick up our mission reward. And I'm sorry, I'm just kind of zooming through this because this is how I try to get legendary item experience as fast as I can, is by just going zippity-zip through these adventures. And that first one's the easiest because there's no combat. So it goes really fast. So if you're ever doing these and you just have a little bit of time and you don't have time for combat, once you have already done all of them at least once, let me turn him down, then you can just pick and choose. You don't have to do them in order, especially with this guy. And you can just do number 1 and number 7. Those are the ones with no combat. But these have combat, so they take a little longer. Depending on how fast you are with combat. Because it scales to your level, so it's not like you can go in and be like, haha, I'm super over leveled for these guys. It's like, now they're in the same level. Because, yeah, I'm 47, they're 47, for example. Okay, fine. but that's one of the reasons why I come in with, I do it either with the Bjorning or with the Minstrel, because for these small little combats like this, it goes pretty fast with the Bjorning and the Minstrel. I do not know how to do this quickly with the Hunter these days, because everything has so much of an induction, and yeah, I don't know, it just seems like it takes longer with my Hunter, which is really annoying, because my Hunter is like my favorite. That's like my main, but which is the one? Oh yeah, here it is. There we go. See? Easy peasy, all done. All right. He's like, go talk to my other guy and let's come back to the campsite and we'll have a chat. Can do. Hey, what's that fast running thing that Bjornings can do? Wanderlust? Yeah. Run faster. That's so cool. I don't play Bjorning much. I really just play the Hunter most of the time, but I try to have fun with this guy. All right, let's go. Or gal. See, when I'm playing the Minstrel, I just go ahead and start screaming at things like by now. Get everything's attention, scream at it all at once, be done. Easy peasy. I guess I could wait for the NPC and follow him. So the storyline of what we're doing here is Bilbo is hanging out at the last homely house, and this is after the Fellowship has departed, but he's like missing, and we're not sure why. So it's like, where is he gone? Oops, sorry, I got turned around. All right, now I'll do the standing up and thingy. Rawr. Oh, cool. I finished a class deed. Cool. All right. Anyway, so we're trying to figure out where's Bilbo gone. So we're like looking south. Well, first we looked in Rivendell and we couldn't find him there. So we're like, okay, he must be out somewhere. And then now we're like, well, let's go south and see if he wandered off that way. And basically the answer is no, he did not wander off this way. But before we can actually have that conversation, we have to deal with all these things that are in our way. Hello, Skagosi. Welcome this evening. Is that a thing? That's a thing. Cool. Skagosi, I was just saying that B4 probably won't be streaming tonight because he's off doing some volunteering work and he's not back. So I am guessing he is not streaming tonight. I mean, that we had already talked about that. I was yeah. We already knew that if he wasn't back by now, he probably wasn't going to be back in time for streaming. So you get 2 times long Little Redhead stream. Probably not. I don't think I have the stamina for that. We'll see. I actually didn't eat dinner yet, so Megan's. So I do want to stop and have something dinner-wise at some point. Not too long, but I'll go through these and see how far we get. And then if I get tired, I'll just be like, peace out. But yeah, so, oh, okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so he is definitely not going to be streaming tonight. We are a maybe for next Tuesday, definitely a no for the 24th, and a probably not for the 1st, but I wouldn't say 100% no. Oh, you know what? Why don't I be a human form? There we go. Ooh, Megan says, I've been rereading The Fellowship of the Ring, and after playing Lotro, it helps me know the map references so much better. I know, right? I find myself doing that from time to time, where it's like, I'll be playing, and then I'll go, like, listen to the audiobook while I'm doing other things or something. And then I hear things, and I'm like, oh, I know that place. You know, yeah, it really, it just adds something to that, to being, like, understanding. I tell you what, you know, because like all the places in Eriador, I kind of have it down pretty good. Although occasionally, sometimes I'm like, what is this place and why are we here or whatever, but it doesn't matter. But yeah, once we get into like Gondor and Rohan and those areas, I'm like, yeah, it all just blends together for me sometimes. And so I really appreciate when we get into some of the books, and then I can connect those dots in a fun way. Oh yeah, and we were doing some stuff where we were in the fields of Carmalin. It's like post raindrop. and and then we were running around there doing stuff when it wasn't that same time period, and that was really interesting to see all that. Why is there? I have a bog lurker buddy. Why do I have a cosmetic pet on here? Okay, because I do. Huh. I think I don't need to have cosmetic pets in that spot. You can keep following me around there, buddy, but I don't need to call you again in the future. Yes, Gagosi, a hobbit needs food. Exactly. Exactly. Well, here, I'll go gather up for this guy. This is what I do with the minstrel. Also, is I just go and I gather up, and then I, like, scream at them, and it's good. Apparently, I don't have as much, I don't know, tactical resistance or something like that with this. Oh, but hey, I could be a bear, and then I could do this thing. Haha! Neener, neeners. Yeah, good job. Sometimes I'll come in here because the NPC is quite strong, and can and definitely hold his own against all of this stuff. So if I'm like busy or I gotta step away for a second, I'll just follow him, and then we just have to get to this part, and he's like, "You need to go hide," and so then I go hide. All right, there we go. He doesn't say it right away. I think it just pauses there, maybe? I'm not sure. But I have to remember to get in here and hide. That's kind of funny. He's like, sorry. You know it's time for the end of the stream when all the glasses are empty. This one's not empty yet. But it is cold, so, you know. All right, so I think we might finish this one and then just call it an evening stream-wise. Oh, thank you. Megan says, I like the flowers on the back of your sofa. Is that part of the headband project? No, actually, this is funny. I had a bicycle and I had a basket on the front of the bicycle, and I wanted to make it look more lovely. So I crocheted, this is after a couple of iterations, and a friend had an idea of like, why don't I just make a piece of fabric basically and attach the flowers to that? So that's how that was. And then I wanted to see the flowers from inside. I wanted, because originally the back side of it was like this, and that's what I was looking at. And then if you were writing toward people, this is what they would see. And I was like, well, that's nice for them, but I want to see lovely things too. Oh, I've been discovered. Hang on. Anyway, so I crocheted it like this, and then it went around the outside of the basket like so. And so then from the outside, this is what other people saw as I was writing towards them. But then this is what I saw from my side as I was writing along. So that was fun. And then I don't have that bike anymore, and the basket was attached. So this then came home with me, and it's just a piece of fabric with flowers on it, basically. And we've been doing some rearranging. There's stuff going on. Anyway, so this is yes, it's a noise-making thing, as Casper's noticing. a shelf that is just temporarily there. But it makes for a nice thing. And I'm actually thinking about maybe leaving it or something like that there, because then I could decorate it with like Lord of the Rings things, and that'd be kind of fun to have that there for streaming. Or I could put a cat bed on top, and then we might have a cat there during stream. I don't know. We'll see. We shall see. Aw, Styler says, always love lurking your stream. Thank you for sharing your vast knowledge and your love for Middle Earth and Lotro. Well, I'm glad to share. Thanks for the compliments. Oh my gosh, Megan says, I'll bet there are lots of fun Lord of the Rings crochet projects. Yes. Oh my gosh, I've seen some really cool knitting projects too, where, because, well, I guess you could do this with crochet too, but where you basically take like the silhouette of the characters, like when they're walking, like when the Fellowship is walking, and you've got like that, some of those, Jackson captured some of those iconic looks where you've got like, Gandalf walking and the hobbits, and so you just kind of like have their silhouettes of each of the characters as they're walking. And then you can like do that as like a pixelated. Yes, Megan says, oh, I think I've seen that with cross stitch. Exactly. I've seen people do that with like a hat and have it go around on the hat. So that's a cool idea. I think I've seen it on a scarf as well, like going up the scarf. So that definitely is attractive to me. I've also seen people have made patterns of the, what is that? The door going into Moria, that really pretty door for the elves, the speak friend and enter door. So that would also be really cool. Now, there's definitely patterns out there for like with the, the one ring, all the elvish, or the black speech, I guess it really was. But I don't want that. That just feels weird to me. But I definitely have thought about things like that. Now, before I was working on a project, which isn't specifically Lord of the Rings, but it is that kind of, I don't know, style where it's a tree of life. And so it looks a bit like the Gondor tree with like, the different branches coming out, but it's more of a Celtic design where they're kind of interwoven. And then it's the same up above, then you've got a trunk, and then it's got like the same down below. So he's working on that in chainmail, and I think he might have shown that on stream a few times. He's about, I would say, 40% of the way through that project right now. Yeah, Megan says knitting patterns like that are always so hard for me. The back gets messy. That's one of the reasons why I haven't done anything like that, because I'm just not ready for, like, when I'm making something for myself. So like when I'm wearing something like this, it's all one thickness, right? Like the inside, the outside, like it's all the same. And when I make something for myself, I notice that that's what I want, is I want something where it's the same thickness all the way through. And I've had sweaters like that from, Christmas or whatever, where it's got like a pattern, and so there's all this extra knitting behind it, and it's like it's thicker where there's some of the pattern, it's thinner where there's the regular material, and I don't like that at all. So I know I wouldn't like that if I even made it for myself. So that's the complicated part for me, is figuring out how to have a design, but in a way that it doesn't create thicker and thinner fabric and then it's itchy against me or whatever. So I haven't done anything like that yet. Yeah, and then there's like, you could do color changing stuff and things like that, but I don't know. And then they're talking about like, you just carry the yarn over. I'm like, yeah, but then I've got 2 yarns there. And yeah, Megan, seems like double the work. Or you do like I do, where you keep just color changing and weaving in the ends and drive yourself crazy with so much extra work. Oh my gosh, I made a Doctor Who style scarf, but I did like a mini version. I think I've shown this to you guys sometimes, but so the regular Doctor Who scarf is like a foot wide basically. And I did a version that was like 10 centimeters wide, but I did the same scale. So basically the Doctor Who scarf, the actual one, is like a foot wide and like 14 feet long. So I did one that was like 10 centimeters wide and like 100 centimeters long, something like that. So it was a skinny scarf. Yeah, it's a skinny scarf. It's really long. But it's great because it doesn't like go to the ground. I don't step on it, and it doesn't pull on my neck because it's light enough because it's small enough. So it's great. But I did it in the style of the Doctor Who. I actually did it kind of like as the Osgood scarf, who's a character. This is kind of getting a little deep cut, but there's a character in the more recent Doctor Who. Well, I say more recent. I think it was maybe Capaldi. But her name is Osgood, and she had a Doctor Who scarf on because she was part of UNIT and all of that. And she knew of Doctor Who, of the Doctor. And so she had a scarf that was basically in the style of his. So it was the long and the wrapped around and all that, but the colors were slightly different. So I did a skinny scarf in the style of the Osgood version of the Doctor Who scarf. Okay, so because it was the skinny version and I was doing short, small pieces of some colors, so some of the colors were only like that much, and then some colors were like that much. Well, that's only like 2 or 3 lines, and then you're changing colors. So I had a lot of ends to weave in. So don't recommend that, but it is lovely, and I'm very glad I have it. But I don't know if I'll ever do that again. So anyway, okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up here. So thanks everybody for coming along. Again, there's no before tonight. So, but yes, we will probably be streaming next week on the 17th. We will definitely not be streaming the following week, June 24th. And we could possibly be streaming on Tuesday, July 1st, but probably not. Okay. So if I don't see you next week, I will see you in a couple weeks. Have a great beginning of your summer, everybody. And we will see you next time. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.